Before we begin, thank you very much to Brave Agito for joining the Patreon campaign. Thank you very much for the contribution. Everything there goes to keeping the channel going, keeping the daily content grinding, and other things that I always say when someone shows me some generosity. I do appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you want to do it yourself, if you want to get a few perks along with it, you can go check out my Patreon. It's linked in the description below. Cheap plug out of the way. Let's talk about the toy store life. Now, normally I would do this in the toy store and lend a little bit of credibility to it. Unfortunately, I had to rush home today, so this is what we have. But we had something really, really cool happen. It was a new drop of Transformers. We got a brand new collection in that was really exciting because there's a lot to it. Been a hot minute since we got a collection this cool and this large. So, without any further ado, let me just take you through a quick tour. So here is batch number 1, which there's already some cool stuff, but hold on. Here's batch number 2. It's getting cooler. It's getting more interesting. Here's batch number 3. There's some wild stuff in this one. And then here's a little bit more here on the end. Just over 60 pieces in the collection, all boxed, most of them sealed, but I wanted to share this one with you because there's a lot of really cool pieces in here. So I thought, okay, let me just kind of breeze through these really quick so you can actually see everything that we have picked up. Now, I do want to point out, because everyone likes like a little bit, how much did you rip them off for? The seller is very aware of how valuable the collection is. We made sure that he settled on a price that he liked, because really he just wanted to get close to what he paid in order to get these. So yeah, we played as fair as we could here. Like I prefer to play fair. I don't want to like cut someone's legs out from under them. So I'm not gonna name numbers, but just to let you guys know, everyone was happy at the end of the day, and everyone was fully aware of what the situation was. So that little disclaimer out of the way, let's just take a tour around. Like, we'll do some close-up of some of my favorite stuff in here. I will still defend this Black Arachnia toy. This is still, I think, the best toy out of Beast Machines. Maybe aside from, like, Blast Punch. This is a fantastic toy. I mean, and it's probably as close to show accurate as the American line ever got. I think it says a lot that the Japanese version of this toy just had to recolor Black Arachnia pink, and it immediately just made it spot on show accurate. That's all it really needed. It's like only one of the only designs that didn't need any kind of redoing. So that one I like that one a lot. But then there's this. You know how happy I am to have like a proper Galaxy Force toy in the toy shop. Now, it is Chromia, which in the American Cybertron version is Thunderblast. I'm pretty sure I still have mine. Pretty sure. I don't know. It's fantastic to see. I don't even think I've had like a proper Cybertron toy, or no, we've had Cybertron toys in the toy shop, but like proper Galaxy Force? No, have not seen that. That's a crazy one to come around. So is this. So Super Link Rodimus Convoy. The toy we weren't allowed to call Convoy in the West because Hasbro didn't want to dilute what a Prime was. Oh, how times have changed. But back then, we had to just call him Rodimus when he came over to the US and pretend that only one Convoy existed. We literally changed that a year later when Vector Prime came out. Oh boy. Okay, so point being, I like this toy. I can't remember what's different about the Japanese Takara release. US versions of these like mid 2000s toys usually had some kind of like paint reduction. That was like the go-to to budget them for US distribution. I gotta double check. This guy came back into my life. Always fun when one of the toys I put on Plastic Addict is in the store. The weird thing is, I'm going to have a fan come into the shop and they are going to buy that and I'm going to have to autograph it. I guarantee that will happen. I guarantee that is how that purple rhino is actually going to leave my presence. Okay, that's little bit stuff that I was amused at. Let's get into some of the stuff with like actual story to it. This is not vintage. I jumped when I saw this. So the collection we were sent photos of had about 56 toys in it. And when we got this collection and everything was said and done, we had 61 toys in our possession. So either a batch of photos got missed or he threw a few things extra into the box. This was one of them. I kind of flipped out because nothing G1 was in the listing. Nothing G1 was offered to us, much less one in box. It is not the original vintage. So the easiest way to tell, I had to go back and forth on this. I had to put it up on my Blue Sky because I was finding very inconsistent information when I searched for this. So the big way to tell is that little gap that's between the forearm and the leg in the artwork on the left side. If it is rounded off, that's a knockoff. If it is a sharp cut and comes closer to a point, that's the vintage. So that's the shape tell. I was gonna say the color of the box, but I also saw this I saw this darker gray in listings that claim to be vintage, and I saw the lighter gray in knockoff ones too. So yeah. Point being, still fascinating piece. Like I'm putting it out as what I call I'm putting out as bait is what it is. So I can put it out on a normal shelf. I don't have to put it, in the case or in the back because it's really not that rare. And I can just let people go, oh my God, is that vintage? Oh no, it's not. Ooh, and a Super Link Rodimus. Okay, I'll take that instead. It's basically like like a lanternfish, an anglerfish. Like I'm just waiting for like them to come in. But no, it's gonna be fun to have that just for how many times I have to explain what the tag repro means. 2 Optimus Primes. I just did a video where I mentioned how bad trans scanning toys were, and lo and behold, one shows up in my presence. Along with another Optimus Prime I just made fun of on Blue Sky because one did a horrible job attempting to transform it on eBay. And it's a photo I point to anytime I have to hear someone go like, alternators weren't that hard to transform. People are exaggerating. No, some of them were nightmares. Some of them are still way too complicated. Prime being one of them. But it's neat to have a couple of fresh Optimus Primes. Cool to have an alternator. We haven't had an alternator in a hot minute in the store. Like, I love the variety this gives us. There's a lot of stuff here from a lot of lines we have never been able to offer before because they just have not been available to us. So, yeah. Getting something like weird, like trans scanning figure, getting something really interesting like the Alternator Prime, that's really good to have. I love seeing that stuff come in. Here's another little interesting batch. I mean, so the Power Core Dinobots are already kind of cool. The Insecticons, that's more interesting to me. So it's the vintage reissues. Back when they were doing them for Universe 2.0, you'll recall the reissue Soundwave. The one that everyone liked because it was the vintage Soundwave colors, but they used the Sound Blaster mold, so it's the only Soundwave that can hold 2 cassettes. This one is from the same run. And yeah, like this is back when they still had to call two of the Insecticons different names. So you had Hard Shell and Sharp Shot, because we couldn't use Bombshell and Shrapnel. Either like iffy terms to use on a child's toy at the time, or just trademarked somewhere else. Either way, funny times. But no, so we got vintage ones in the back. That is nice to see. I am confused at the Human Alliance. So a lot of these boxes have been opened, and some of them have been resealed. The Human Alliance box looks both resealed and completely intact at the same time, and I don't know how to respond to that. I'm genuinely confused by that box. So I'm not sure what to do. Because like all the tape seals are there. Doesn't look like any of them have been broken. But inside it looks like the plastic tabs holding it down to the crate are actually like disturbed somehow. I don't know what to make of it yet. Needs further examination. I miss Cyberverse. I miss proper original Cyberverse. A micro version of the current toy line is such a good idea. Not only does it let younger kids afford the same characters and, you know, actually be able to play out the same scenes as you could with the larger, more expensive toys that, the older kids probably got. I loved having them small enough that we could actually have things that other action figure lines enjoy, like vehicles and play sets. This is a really neat little subline that we never really got to fully enjoy. And yeah, I'm thrilled to have a little bit of it in here, if only so I get to talk about it on the toy shop. That wasn't the phrase I was going for, but we're going to go with it. Let me show you a few surprising ones, like shockingly. So we've got a full set of 5 Dark of the Moon mini cons that have been repainted into G1 Dinobot colors. And in a very Power Ranger-esque move, we have taken Catilla, which I guess is as close to a Similodon as we're going to get, and we are claiming that it is part of these Dinobots, apparently. So, obvious name dumps aside, because why would you name a T-Rex Dualor? These are shockingly expensive on the aftermarket. Like, amazingly expensive for what they are. Like, expensive to the point I am considering just, like, clipping them together and selling it as one batch. Like, just to make sure they all move. It's really rare. Like, we're talking like $40 a minicon. Like, somewhere around there, kind of rare. And I assume it's because, you're hitting minicon collectors with these, like, really obscure things. Because these were, like, obviously we didn't get to Dinobots until another movie later. But this was done something like, almost like a dollar store like a Five Below style exclusive toy. Where this went to, like, smaller retailers, you wouldn't find these on normal store shelves. So it did make them hard to track down. It made it harder to get all 5. So I'm assuming that is it. So you're tempting both Dinobot collectors with a really obscure set, as well as Minicon collectors with a set that is hard to complete. So I guess in that sense, it makes sense for why they're expensive. But still, I'm going to have to put an uncomfortable number on each one of these, which is wild to me. I think one of them came up like $55 when I looked on eBay for it. I don't understand why. I genuinely don't. I'm trying. It's failing. But next to them, again, shocking. I am like shocked at how expensive these are. So the smaller MechTech toys, I will admit, these are great figures. Like if you think about it, like this was like, this was just like a hallmark, landmark little toy line for them to do. So fully transforming figures, of course, vehicle robot mode, of course, but you also get a pilot figure that works with them in both the vehicle mode and the third mode, which is essentially a weaponized mode for larger toys or sometimes just for themselves. That's a lot. That is a lot of play value and a lot of toy for these small guys. And I'm just assuming these are expensive because there's such huge nostalgia for this line, probably because a lot of kids ended up buying them and then they couldn't afford larger toys. And then, yeah, just play value wise, it would be harder to get bored of these because that is quite a bit that they do. Yeah, and that's it's a line that I did not appreciate. Like obviously, obviously Human Alliance stuff we've talked about here in the past on the channel. That part I do really appreciate because it was a really cool toy line and it was a really interesting thing for Transformers to do. I just didn't realize the non-movie stuff actually went really, really hard on the aftermarket. That shocked me. So this is going to be a time capsule for all of you that were into the third party market when it first kicked off. These are from Impossible Toys, which is a company that has not been around in like a decade. And they were one of the first on the markets, and their big thing was, do the characters that Hasbro would at the time never do. And a lot of that was quintessons. And you can see they did just about everybody from the quintesson court, which is a really cool thing. I love that they did that because you think about it, look at the assortment here. I mean, there's only a few I'm gonna mess up the names. So I've got a prosecutor, I've got an educator, I've got an executioner, I have the scientist. I want my viewers to realize I'm remembering the names as I look at the designs, completely forgetting that I can just see the names of them on the box. So for you, that seemed like, okay, he's just reading the boxes now. No, I'm making an idiot of myself and I'm not realizing it. So those were, it'd actually be neat. I would actually kind of like to crack open the Alicon if that box has been opened, just so I could get a peek at how they engineered that compared to Hasbro's. You'll also notice a Nightbird in there, which is a TFCon exclusive, as well as a Kremzeek, which I forgot to get completely in shot. Next up. So you have to mix and match a little bit, but you can get a complete rail racer here. So the rapid runs are both opened. Fascinatingly enough, the one out of the box is the second run version that has the painted windows. So that's technically the better rapid run. And then you have obviously like J4 and J5, or J3 and J4. Those are sealed. They're weirdly sealed, like they're taped all the way around. And for a while I thought like, man, this is like really like heavily resealed boxes. But no, like the parts that aren't taped are still like glue sealed to the card. And there's no like there's a few spots where it can't, where it looks like it might have like come off the card, but not enough to remove the toy inside. So I don't know, they seem sealed to me, even though rapid runs are open. It's cool to have. It's cool to have because like a lot of fans really love those, and it's unique. The Japanese version is really unique. So the American toy line just got the idea of like, let's just paint the windows. In Japan, they wanted the windows to be clear. They wanted them to be like actual windows. So a huge chunk of these toys are painted just so those windows can be clear. So, you know me and clear plastic, but if someone else wants to take a shot at them, there you go. We got them. We got them. This was the fun stack. Alternity is something I don't have a whole lot of hands-on experience with. So I only had Optimus and the Skywarp mold. So very limited experience with the toy line, but neat toys to see in person. Essentially doing what alternators did, just at a smaller scale. And with like more modern car licenses. I do like these overall. They look very different than what we're used to in Transformers. That's the neat part to it for me. It's like it's a really unique time capsule kind of thing. Ready for the weirdest ones? We got a bunch of deluxes from Dark of the Moon, which goes right along with all those Human Alliance toys, right? Look at the two on the left. So for those unaware, the Wheeljack and Soundwave in those lines were end series toys. They were extraordinarily hard to find at US retail. Most of us had to import ours in order to get them. It is wild to see them both at the same time. I've had that Soundwave toy. It's a fantastic toy. Never had the Wheeljack. First time seeing it in person. They go crazy on the aftermarket, like huge, expensive toys. They are sealed. They are very valuable. I'm going to have to treat them very carefully. So like that's the bulk of it. That is the bulk of it. So we got a ton of brand new Transformers into the shop. I'm super excited to figure out where to go, how I'm presenting these, what has to go behind the counter. It's going to be a fun time playing the Tetris game to figure out how to get all of this in some sort of logical position with the space we got. Oh, one other thing. We might not be done. After striking the deal, found a couple more alternatives that weren't included. And you found G1 Dinobots that weren't included. You can see all the parts with them too. I have to make sure they are not knockoffs. Someone's got to tell me how to tell if they're knockoff or not before we dare to make an offer on those. Because if the gnaw is, these could be as well. But no, I'm super excited. I love getting a brand new wave of Transformers into the shop, and I wanted to share it with you because I know a lot of you out there like to see what updates the store has and if we get cool Transformers in. And these are very cool Transformers from all over the franchise. Yeah, this is going to be cool. This is going to be cool. I'm looking forward to this. So I'm going to leave it at that. So I am going to go get dinner now. And I am going to start figuring out in my head what I'm going to do with all of those. Yes, I'm off the clock and I am still considering how I'm going to handle work when I get back to work. But the work is fun. So it's, so don't accuse me of like overworking myself in the comment section. No, I'm enjoying the mental Tetris game of it. That is the challenge. And that is the Toy Store life. Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.